this is Druids to the Win here, and this is once again some Dawn of War 2 gameplay with some commentary over top of it. So this game I am playing as the Imperial Guard going up against the Orks, and it was a pretty fun game. It was fairly dominated by me, so I feel that was a pretty solid game. So right away, I'm going to train two squads of guardsmen just to capture the resource points faster and victory points. So there's my second squad of guardsmen. They're going to go for that requisition point there, and they're taking the point there. Guardsmen are really inexpensive units, so you can sort of be a bit more reckless with them than most units. So my lord is taking the power node there. There's my last squad of guardsmen. They're gonna go take cover there apparently, and my lord is now gonna go for the first victory point, just to get slight bit of a lead right away off of the enemy. Though you gotta make sure always you gotta go for your resource points first. So in case your enemy goes for the victory point and you lose a few guys, you're not really hurting on resources when you try to reinforce them. So I'm gonna take a few squads of guys to sort of go to the middle of the map, sort of fortify themselves in the defenses. There is his lord, his war boss, running right at me, and there's a squad of slug boys. So I make those guardsmen fall back so they don't take too many casualties. So while he's sort of running around there, I'm sort of going to send my lord into his side of the map and attempt to take some resource points on his side. There's some shooter boys, and they're just getting ripped apart by him. And I'm going to go for the second victory point. Those guys are almost falling back. I didn't really take any casualties, but I didn't want to risk losing a whole guardsman squad, since guardsmen are really bad in close combat, and well, that's what the slug boys are meant for. So his war boss is there, attack my lord. He does have some shooter boys there backing him up, and he's being pretty ballsy here. He sent some units there to take points, and I have basically all my guardsmen there, so he's just getting torn apart, and he is gonna lose a whole squad of units. I don't know why he did that. That is a huge waste of resources, and there he is, taking the second victory point after I make my lord fall back. So there's a Sentinel. Now, Sentinels are really awesome units. They basically secure a lot of wins for me just because of its ability Stomp, which sends people flying around and makes them dazed, and it just does a decent amount of damage. It's a really good unit. So anyway, there's a bit of a fight going on here. I make my three squad of guardsmen sort of take cover behind there, and I know that I have my Sentinel, so I'm going to rush my Sentinel in there to use his Stomp ability. So he's actually losing a lot of units. I wouldn't really need my Sentinel, but now that his war boss is there, you kind of got my Sentinel being a douchebag destroying cover. And there's a Stomp, but he makes his war boss fall back, so I don't really have very much to worry about. So now that he has fallen back, I'm going to try and take advantage of the fact that he just pulled back all his units and attempt to take resource points on his side of the map. Because that's what you got to do. It's a lot about just taking advantage of when your enemy runs away. So I'm going to improve that power node and, attempt to get that power point there, but it doesn't really work out. I'm going to make those guys sort of take cover right there, and what happens next? So they're in the midst of, there we are, that's what happens. A squad of Storm Boys actually come, and those guys are right there, so I'm sort of nervous about the Storm Boys running over and killing my guardsmen there at the requisition point on his side of the map. So I do make them fall back because I don't want to suffer any unneeded casualties. Alright, so Sentinel's just strolling around there. Sorry. And let's see. Yeah, you know what, I'll send my lord to go take that requisition point there. Alright, so I reinforce that squad, give them a sergeant, and I sort of just hold out now. Play defensive, upgrade that power point just so I can get some extra power coming in, because I want to advance to the next stronghold. And my Sentinel is just going to roam around. Sentinel is also really good for scanning because it is fairly fast. But there is a bit of a fight. There's a bunch of Storm Boys right there, so I pull my Sentinel back so he doesn't take any unneeded damage. And I'm going to bring in some squads of guardsmen to sort of, back up my Sentinel. So my guardsmen are coming in. I use the stomp ability. I get a big stomp. A lot of them are slowed and knocked back. And I get to rush in my guardsmen, but he does charge my first squad of guardsmen, knocks them down. Storm Boys are just ripping them apart. I can't do much. You know, those Storm Boys can take quite a bit of hits. This isn't looking good. I'm losing another, basically a whole squad there. He's leaping to the next. In comes the War Boss. I have to make those guys fall back before I suffer any more unneeded casualties. And I lose a whole squad of units there, and I gotta make those guys fall back. So he really wanted middle. He had his War Boss there, Storm Boys, Shooter Boys, and I make the mistake of actually leaving my Sentinel in the middle of the map, totally forgetting about him, and he kills my Sentinel. So, you know, I don't like that, because that was a lot of resources that, you know, that just got wasted there. Well, not wasted, but a lot of units that just needlessly died. So I have a heavy weapon squad, so I'm kind of going to send those guys to sort of get a good vantage point for when I send in my next attack to take the victory point in the middle. My Lord is taking the victory point on the left side of the map just because, you know, he sent his army there, so you got to take advantage of where your enemy is and, you know, be wary of that at all times. So my heavy weapon squad is setting up there, and I got 3 full squads of guardsmen going in, so it's looking good. Lord's going around, so, you know, gonna get this victory point no matter what, because he has his wounded Storm Boys there, and so they're just gonna get torn apart if he doesn't make them fall. There he is. They're falling back. So my Lord's just gonna sit there and shoot them and have some fun, and he's sending his Lord in to go attack my power node. Yeah, that's perfectly fine, I guess. You know, I'll send some guardsmen and my Lord over there to sort of take care of him. There he is. He knows that I left that victory point too, so he's sort of, you know, taking advantage of that and taking that from me. So I have the one in the middle. Yeah, I get another Sentinel because Sentinels are really good at securing team fights, wins for you. So you know, you gotta get that at all times. All right, fortifying myself in the middle, and there is his Lord falling. I keep calling him a Lord. He's a War Boss. His War Boss, so he makes his War Boss fall back, which is, you know, it's pretty good because I don't want him, you know, around on my side of the map attacking all my shit. So, have my Sentinel go back to the middle. Really powerful unit. Kind of sad that I lost when I was playing this game, but well, you know, it's not like they're that expensive. They're expensive enough though. All right, so I got a good-sized army going on in the middle. Actually, I have a heavy weapon squad. I have 3 squads of guardsmen. So I pretty much just relax, and there we go, advance to the next stronghold age. So he has a fair amount of guys in middle. So my Sentinel kind of gets caught up on my units there, but he rushes in. I click on the Sentinel, stomp. There he goes. Wasn't really super necessary, but it does get some slowed and allows me to fully finish off that squad of Shooter Boys over there. They're all dead, which is good. That's what I like. So he's back at middle, so, you know, I kind of want to do that. Send guardsmen to go take that victory point. And yeah, oh yeah, these Storm Boys don't really stand a chance. I don't know if he knows that or not, but I have a heavy weapon squad there to slow him down. So, you know, don't really know what he's doing. So he does leap over to that squad, but they're instantly suppressed by the heavy weapons, and that's a full squad of Storm Boys finally down. That's what I like to see, because those are really expensive units. And he's sending his War Boss in. He's doing a big knockback. He only gets one of my units, so I stomp him back with the Sentinel and fully finish off his War Boss. So that puts the hurt on, you know. He has to revive his War Boss, and that can be fairly pricey. Take that requisition point back, because I don't like people taking my shit all the time. Alright. Make those guys fall back because they are hurting. And I was going to train Chimera, but I didn't want that, so I'll train the Manticore. Because, you know, you need a Manticore a lot of the times. I don't really get much use out of them, but, you know, it's still a really handy unit to have. Basically shoots out like 4 massive rockets in case you haven't played as the Imperial Guard before. It's pretty badass. So I have my Lord taking points on his side of the map since he made all his guys fall back. So, you know, you can do stuff like that and sort of feel safe about it because he doesn't even have his War Boss. I don't really think at this point in the game that he even had a lot of units because he really only had like 2 requisition points or 1. So, you know, it wasn't very fun for him, to say the least. So once again, playing defensive, fortifying myself in the middle, probably pissing him off by attacking his power nodes there, and there's the Manticore, and he's taking the victory point on the left side of the map, and you know, gotta go stop him. You know, you kind of want to be, I want to be in full control of this game, so I don't want him controlling any of the victory points. So the Sentinel comes in, looking, sort of taking in the scenery. Sentinel goes in, goes for a big, there we go, there's the stomp, big stomp, sends a lot of them flying back, and that allows me to finish off quite a bit of those Storm Boys before he actually makes them fall back. Because, you know, he doesn't want to lose any more units, but, you know, taking down tier 3 Storm Boys, that's perfectly fine with me. Alright, so can't train anything just yet. I don't have enough requisition at the moment, but that's perfectly fine. He only has 1 of the victory points, but not anymore. And so far, this is looking pretty good for me. I've only lost 3 of my points. He's down to 176, so at this point, I was feeling pretty confident that I was in a very good stand in this game. But, you know, can't be too confident because things can change really fast. So there's the victory point. That's taken. So I can just relax. I'm going to make the Sentinel decap that power point. Stupid thing is that Sentinels, they can decap points. Like, if the enemy controls it, they could just decap it. But they can't cap points on their own. They can only decap, which... that's kind of stupid, you know. They should have made it so they can at least cap points, but, you know, whatever. So he's taking my victory point there. He has another squad of Storm Boys. I don't know why he keeps training Storm Boys. I feel like maybe he should train some of the cheaper units just so that he can get a decent sized army. So I make my Manticore target there 4 times, but I don't know what happens. I probably make a mistake. I made the Manticore keep moving. So I once again use the Manticore, try to target 4 more rockets, but as you can see, like, it doesn't shoot the rockets or anything. Like, I don't know what was going on there. That was probably a bad thing on my part. But right now I am being torn apart by Slugger Boys and Storm Boys, so I gotta make my units fall back before I suffer any unneeded casualties. So I'm gonna bring in my 3 squads of guardsmen in middle to hopefully go and you know, take care of those guys in middle. So I don't know how this turns out. I got a las cannon on my heavy weapons team because I had a feeling he was going to be training lots of war trucks and just vehicles in general. But he hasn't done any of that so far, which is surprising. And we're going to send the Sentinel in around. I am suffering a lot of casualties right now. I'm losing a lot of units. I don't like this the way that this is going. Reinforce that squad fully up. Big knockback from the war boss. And that squad of guardsmen is just getting torn apart. Get a stomp. Wasn't really super necessary, but you got to do it just for good measure. So that war boss is rushing at my heavy weapon squad, just impaling one of them. What a nice guy. All right, go for that victory point. So it's now looking really well. It's the enemy has 50 points left. So right at this moment I wasn't too worried with what he could pull out. He has been denied fairly hard this whole game, you know. Well, denied in the denied as in like he wasn't able to finish off a whole lot of my squads of guys, and denial is in the point that like I've been taking a lot of his resource points. So he's been fairly hurt in this whole game. All right, taking that last victory point, and then I have all 3. And that pretty much after that secures the win for me. Reinforce that squad up. And start training an Ogren squad, but it's not really necessary. That squad had 2 guardsmen left. Oh my god. That was a close one for them. And there we go. Have all 3 points. So GG, it was pretty fun. He doesn't send a message back. Imagine he's probably pretty mad, but you know what? Oh well. That was a pretty fun match. So overall, the guy does deserve a good game. But anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. This is my second Dawn of War gameplay commentary. So tell me what you guys think if you want to see some more Dawn of War if you're watching. And I'll talk to you guys next time. See you later.